Hey, what's up, you guys? So I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I've noticed there's been a huge stuttering issue. I watched a couple of YouTube videos and on the Steam discussion boards, and a lot of people have different answers. I found a setting, in-game setting, that virtually stopped most of the stuttering. I'd say it stopped like 90% of the stuttering. I'm going to show you that, but first I'm going to show you some changes you can do in the NVIDIA app. So just to let you know, I'm on a 5070 Ti. This is my system specs right here. 9800 X3D, Asus Tough 5070 Ti, and I have 64 gigabytes of RAM. However, I've been hearing that no matter if you have like 5090, 4090, and it doesn't matter what specs you have, people said that they're getting stuttering all over the place. Apparently the 9800 X3D or even the 7800 X3D AMD chipsets are causing a lot of stuttering. I'm not too sure why. But anyway, here's the global settings. So the things that I've changed that did make a huge difference is the low latency mode. I put to ultra. And then max this frame rate, or sorry, set your frame rate to whatever your display frame rate is on. I play off of my LG C4 OLED, which is a 120 hertz, so I set it to 120 FPS. So those two. Power management mode set to prefer maximum performance, and VSync set to on. Also make sure your G-Sync is on. Everything else doesn't really matter, but those four things did help with the stuttering. So again, VSync on, power management, maximum performance, 120, or whatever your FPS is or your hertz are for your display. Mine again is 120, so I set it to 120. And low latency, make sure it's on ultra. Sorry if you have a 9070 XT or any AMD GPUs, I can't help you with that. But any NVIDIA GPUs that you have, that should work. All right, so now we're going to go into the in-game settings. While this loads up here. Also, one thing I want to mention, just make sure that your CPU power management is set to performance in Windows. And we're going to load up in Nibelheim, which is the beginning of the game. I just started, so I didn't get that far. This is where I experienced a lot of stuttering. So I'm going to show you the setting. I turn the game audio down a little bit. Let's turn this down. All right. Okay. So yeah. So we're going to go to System. And these are my settings here. So I have it set to borderless full screen. For borderless full screen, it really doesn't matter what your screen resolution is. It's just going to take whatever your native display is and then set it to whatever that is. So I'm on a 4K TV, so it's set to 4K borderless. Frame rate, again, match it to whatever your display is, 120 hertz. This is important. Make sure this is set to VRR. Now, I know in the NVIDIA app we did set it to VSync. For whatever reason, this override helps with the stuttering, so just make sure it's set to VRR, not VSync. This doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. So what I did is the maximum resolution I set to 100, and the minimum I set to the bottom, which is 33%. I don't know why, but a lot of YouTubers were setting these both to 100, and that doesn't really help. No offense to them, but it actually uses more GPU utilization and uses a lot more VRAM. So I don't recommend setting this to maybe 50% being the highest, but don't set this to 66 or 100, or else you will get more stuttering. This one doesn't use that much memory, so I would leave it on ultra. I haven't tested this stuttering issue near the ocean because I haven't got that far in the game, so not too sure if this will affect anything or not. So far it hasn't, so I just set it to high. I set the character model details to high, effect details. We're gonna get back to the texture resolution because this is the culprit right here. The texture resolution. This is what's causing, like I said, 90% of the stuttering issue, and I'm gonna show you guys that. Shadow quality, you can set the high. Fog, you can set the high. Again, if you're on nvidia, recommend, at least if you have 3000 series or above, set it to DLSS. Not too sure why, unlike other games, you can set it to quality, performance, native, whatever, and there's no DLAA for some reason. I'm not too sure why, but just set it to DLSS. I have no idea what the super sampling is at. I'm gonna guess it's, well, honestly, these two is what is really your super sampling. So honestly, I'm not too sure why this is here. This is a very badly performance optimized game, in my opinion. It's not the worst. It's absolutely not the worst, but Final Fantasy VII Remake was way better, in my opinion. Character display set to 10. Shadow display, character display set to 10. And this doesn't matter. In fact, I can't even change this. I'm not too sure what this is. So anyway, we're going to run around a little bit. And as you can see, it's pretty smooth.
It's been a long time since we had this much excitement.
Again, I'm on a 5070 Ti. I'm in a crowded area. Getting about 110 FPS. We'll drop down here. Oh, Cloud can't jump off the roof apparently. Can destroy a meteor, but can't jump off a small little roof. Alright, so bunch of people here. Now it's gonna stutter just a tiny bit, but it's nowhere as bad as what I'm about to show you. Alright, so we pretty much ran around the whole town. And I'm not getting, my lows are pretty good. It's only dropping about maybe 5 to 8 frames. Alright, so now we're gonna load up. I'll show you guys what's really causing the problems. This texture resolution stuff. I'm gonna set that to high, and yeah, you're gonna see some stuff now. My lows are now in the 80s. It is jaggy all over the place. Not too sure if you guys can see that on YouTube, but it's pretty bad. Like right here, look at this. I'm gonna rotate the camera. Look at that. You can see that, right? My low, I'm going from 80 to 100 just by turning. And this is set to 120 frames. Why this is happening, I have no idea. But again, and if we set that to, it's even bad on medium. So go to medium settings here. Whoops. Texture resolution. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like right there with the chickens. Alright, so we're gonna set it back to low.
What do you think Sephiroth's like when he's not on duty?
It's a lot smoother. I'm at 116. It's going from 113 to 116. Okay, went to 110, but way better than how it was on medium or high settings. So anyway, yeah, that's what I recommend. I have heard about the whole resize bar you can set in BIOS. I haven't messed with that at all. I find this to fix majority of the problems. Again, it's not perfect, but it is a huge, significant difference compared to when I first booted up the game. So again, try all the settings, but the most important thing is that texture resolution. Make sure you set that to low, and that will definitely help you guys out. All right, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later.